What's up everyone, Safe on Talk, and we are back with a video about ripping through the campaign. Now we are about 5 weeks into the league at the time of making this video, and people are starting to want to try other stuff, but they aren't very excited about going through the campaign again. So let's go over what I have found and what many people use, especially more experienced players, to rip through the campaign incredibly fast. So what are we going to use? Well, we are going to be using the one with nothing small cluster jewel, which gives you the hollow palm technique. What this cluster jewel does is it'll give you one node of hollow palm technique. You will count as dual wielding while you are unencumbered. Unencumbered means, as it says at the bottom of this, you are unencumbered while you have no gloves, no main hand, and no offhand equipped. So you cannot use a weapon, you cannot use an offhand, and you cannot have gloves on. And one of these jewels is going to go in one of these outside cluster sockets. Even though it's a small cluster jewel, you can put it in a large jewel socket. That's not a big deal. So what you are going to do is, no matter where you start on the map, you are going to rush to the edge of the map to the nearest large cluster jewel slot to be able to socket this in. Now, you will notice that I am going to be using Smite. I have it already on here. I am doing 27.9 damage with Smite. Now, when I put in this cluster jewel and I allocate the hollow palm technique, that jumps up to 745 at level 13. Now, I did this on Duelist because that is the quickest I know of that can not only get to that jewel socket, but you also get the Dexterity passive nodes as you go. Why is this important? Because it gives you attack and physical damage to melee skills per 10 dexterity while you are unencumbered. So you get a large physical damage boost when you are getting dexterity nodes. So now a lot of you are probably thinking, okay, what if all you get are strength nodes that go through? Well, there is 2 items that are mainly going to help with this. Now, there are others that you can just get flat dexterity on. That's perfectly fine too. But the 2 I want to really focus on is Astramentus and the Fluid Motion Jewel, along with there is another variation of this jewel that I will show you in a minute. But Astramentus at level 20, you can see, gives you a ton of attributes. And even at level 20, you can take this even farther with an anoint. Remember, an anoint, something you can put on your amulet. You can go to Sister Cassia, you can go in your hideout, click on edit, decorations, type, Cassia in the search thing, drag and drop her into your hideout. You can also anoint stuff with the anoint paid tab in your stash. I don't have that, so I'm not able to show that to you at the moment. But you go to Sister Cassia, go to anoint, you can go to the Onyx amulet, and I can put 3 oils that are going to allocate utmost swiftness on this jewel, giving it even more dexterity for when I hit level 20. Now remember, you can see exactly what oils you need for a specific anoint by either just Googling POE anoint list, or if there's a certain passive you want, say utmost swiftness, which is down here, if you go over it and hold Alt, it will show you the oils and the order you need to put them in to allocate this or anoint this to the item. Now, next is the Fluid Motion Jewel. That is going to give you strength from passives and radius, is transformed to dexterity, as well as giving you some flat dexterity. So what that's going to do is you are going to want to put that in item spots like here, like basic jewel sockets. Now, this would be a poor one for me, because even though it gives flat dex, there are no strength nodes around here other than there's one right here. So it's going to change this into a +10 to dexterity node. But for people that do not have dexterity in the start of their tree, like here's some strength nodes, you could put it here and get some dexterity very early on in your tree. There is also an intelligence version of this called Careful Planning that does intelligence from passives and radius are transformed to dexterity. So what that means is, depending on the class that you are picking, you may need to wait for level 20 to really start doing damage, and when I recommend switching to Unhallowed Palm and using Smite. But as you can see, and I'll show you, it does an insane amount of damage. You're going to one-shot most things and absolutely decimate bosses through the campaign. Not to mention your smite is constantly leveling up, so it keeps scaling with you as you go through the campaign. See, lots and lots of damage. Now, what should you link to the smite? Well, 3 that I suggest are Ancestral Call support, Trinity support, and the elemental damage with attack support. I also suggest using the Herald of Ice, Aura, and Clarity. Now, you can skip the Clarity if you get an item like Pirandus Signet. You can even wear 2 of these, and a nice advantage that gives you 2% increased experience gain. So you can throw one of these on. You are going to have a lot fewer mana problems with the mana regeneration. If you really have some currency saved up, you don't need a ton, but a decent amount, you can absolutely trivialize the campaign by getting some other key items with this strategy, namely Prism Weave Rustic Sash, which is going to give you a lot of flat elemental damage to attacks at level 25. Another really good one is Sedima's Touch. That's going to give you more flat elemental damage at level 25. It doesn't sound like a lot. It is incredibly advantageous. It gives you a lot of damage, flat damage like this to attacks. Works incredibly well with Smite, and it is a low enough level that once you get these, you are going to be blowing through everything even faster. Another good one is the Meganord's Girdle Heavy Belt. That's going to give you flat damage, and also it only has a required level of 8. Tier of Purity Lapis Amulet is also really good because it is going to grant you the level 10 Purity of Elements. Now, you can use this if you are not using Clarity. I suggest using the Pirandus Ring for this, so you can fit Herald of Ice on there and still have a decent amount of damage while also keeping enough mana unreserved so you aren't running out of mana constantly. You can also pair this with a Gold Rim Leather Cap, which is going to give you a good percentage to all resists, and that with Purity is going to almost max your 3 resistances right off the bat. Not to mention Purity of Elements also makes you immune to all elemental ailments, so things like Ignite and Shock and all that. That is also going to help you through the campaign. For the armor, you have 2 options, especially this time of the league. Tabula Rasa is very cheap. You can get these for very, very cheaply. And then the slightly more expensive build is the Skin of the Loyal Simple Robe. Now this works, this always comes 6-linked, so it is not hard to get 6-linked, and you can see the sockets cannot be modified, so I would at least search with one with 3 red and a blue so you can at least get these sockets. How would you do that? Well, you go to POE Trade, you can put in Skin of the Loyal Simple Robe, you can hit Show Filters, and you can say, I need on the links, there it is, socket filters, I need on the links 3 red and 1 blue for Trinity. You can click search and you will see you can get one for 40, 50 chaos, and you are set up. That +1 of level of socketed gems helps a ton. Always being 1 ahead on the damage curve is very, very good for when you are leveling. Not to mention Tabula has 0 defenses unless you get a lucky corrupted one, and this one gives 100% increased global defenses, so it's going to increase things like the evasion rating and stuff of the 7-league step. Also, on a side note, I'm using 7-league step because it only gives 50% increased movement speed, but dear God, if you have another high-level character, you are going to feel the speed of your character in the beginning and during the campaign if you don't remedy that. As a quick bonus before I finish up this video, if you don't want to go the route of Unhallowed Palm and you are a spellcaster, some things to note: you should dual wield the Axiom Perpetuum. That is going to give you flat damage to spells, and it's also a level 10 item, so you can use it incredibly early. That is going to help a lot. And the Ribbons Armor, which is just an amazing armor for leveling. I'm not going to change the sockets. You can really go all out and get, say, a 2.3, change your spells to whatever this is. You can get rid of this and just get a normal one. You can see this does not have a level requirement. It's very cheap, and it gives you flat damage to spells and attacks. So another great thing to use. especially at level 1 and with the elemental proliferation. This is a huge damage boost. Has a little bit of defenses. It's going to give you some resist 2, some life, evasion rating. This is just an all-around amazing leveling armor. All right, so I think that's it, guys. Not too complicated. It is actually really fun. It makes me not mind the leveling process nearly as much when I do Unhallowed Palm, because it's just so great to run over and just beat everything into the ground, especially once you hit, your Astramentus and your other 25 breakpoint items. It is absolutely ridiculous, and it just trivializes everything. And it's just generally fun, like I said, to go through the campaign and beat the crap out of things that gave you trouble the first couple playtimes before you used this strategy. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, everyone, and join the Twitch over at twitch.tv/safeontalk to hang out with all of us. I answer questions whenever I can, and if I can't answer it, there is a very good chance someone in the chat can answer it. Just a lot of great people over there, and hopefully we will see you over there. But we will see you next time, everyone, and see you later.